Hi, I am the OBG. I want to talk about the default mode network, and that's a part of our minds that needs quiet to take stock of things. We have a default mode network, all of us. Let me explain, okay? I clocked it one day, was standing in a queue, waiting, doing nothing. 90 seconds, that's all it was, maybe less to be fair, and my hand was already moving like it's got a mind of its own, reaching for my phone, and I thought, no decision there, just pure reflex. And that's when it hit me. I'm not in control of this thing. This thing's running me. Man's acting like he's busy, like he's plugged into something important. But really, I trained my brain to panic whenever there's silence. Any gap, fill it. Any pause, kill it. Scroll, tap, refresh. I've handed over my attention piece, my phone piece, attention piece by piece, and now my phone has got control of what's happening, and I wasn't even aware of it. So I started doing something that I felt was kind of a bit dirty at first, almost illegal. I started switching my phone off, and I mean properly off. And I'm not doing it to be trendy or anti-tech. I'm doing it because I realised that there's a whole part of my mind that I just abandoned. That quiet space where your thoughts actually breathe. That part that's not empty. And that's where the real work's happening. And they've got a name for it. It's called the default mode network. And now it sounds technical, but it's simple. It's what kicks in when you stop forcing your brain to react to everything. When you're just sat there, sitting, thinking, drifting, remembering, connecting dots you didn't even know were related. Now, Marcus Raichle, he's a neuroscientist at Washington University. It was him who revolutionized our understanding of how the brain works when it's not focused on a task. In 2001, he and his colleagues, they discovered that the default mode network, I'm going to call it DMN from now on, I'll say either, interchangeable, depends what comes out of my mind first, which is a set of brain regions. They become active during rest, daydreaming, self-reflection, and this was a major shift because before Raichle's work, or Raichel, Raicle, I don't know, it's spelled R-A-I-C-H-L-E. Raicle. Before his work and his team's work, most brain research focused on how areas light up during tasks. And he showed that the brain is equally busy when we're doing nothing. We're busy doing nothing. You know the song anyway. But the brain uses about 20% of the body's energy, even when it's resting. And I used to treat that state of quietness like it was useless, like dead time. I'm talking about a long time ago, by the way, because as I said, I read a lot of psychology and neurology books and stuff, and that came to me. But something to our brains, we feel that it's something that we have to fill with noise, fill it with podcasts, check our notifications, But that's backwards. That's the engine room. That's where you process your life. That's where ideas actually form. And we've built a world that actively blocks that. Every little ping of our phone, every vibration, every little red dot. It's not harmless. It's chopping up our attention into pieces. And Daniel Levitin, he's also a neuroscientist and a cognitive psychologist. He is known for his work on how the brain processes music, information, and decision making. So I trust him. He talks about it. This constant switching, he says, is not free. Your brain pays for it. Energy gets burned, focus gets scattered. You end up tired, but you've done nothing deep. Or nothing meaningful in most cases, just surface level engagement all day. And that was me, running on empty before I'd even got started. Then I got to thinking about ways to change that. And when I'm on a mission, there's no stopping me. And I'd recommend that you do this too. Not in some soft, half-hearted way, I mean properly. So the first thing I did was to create distance, and I mean physical distance. The phone stays behind. I mean, when I go for a walk, it's not coming. When I'm cooking, it's in another room. When I'm at the cafeteria, it doesn't come down with me. It's hard to start with, but it's doable. Leave your phone. Not on silent, not face down, I mean gone. The separation's much more easier than discipline. Now, Cal Newport, he's a computer science professor. He writes about the intersection of technology, focus, and deep work. And he talks about this digital minimalism thing. And another cool phrase, I will add, but its essence is quite simple. Stop letting nonsense fill the space that could actually mean something. People think space is nothing. Always, emptiness is nothing. But emptiness and space is space to breathe. And for me, that space turned into thinking time, real thinking, the kind where you start solving problems without even trying. And through experience, I'd say stuff like that felt stuck in my mind suddenly loosened up. And that happens to everybody after you stop forcing it. If you're a creative, you know that. When you're sat there thinking and trying your hardest, you get work done, but it's often technical, dry. But when you stop thinking, boom, those eureka moments happen. And then you go and you kind of, express that, however you do. And creativity isn't about art only. Whenever you say creative, people think, oh, you make stuff, you're an artist. It means being creative in whatever the endeavour is. And if you start utilising this space I'm talking about, being aware, making that space, then you relieve that tedium by not doing anything. And that solves the issue. Now, most people, they can't sit still without feeling uncomfortable. The itch kicks in and they run straight back to the distraction. But boredom's not the enemy. It's the signal that is. It's your brain saying, all right, you stop feeding me junk. Now let's actually do something. And instead of running from it, I started leaning hard into this, standing in a queue, waiting for a bus, whatever. I just stay there. No escape. Let the mind wander. And it really does go to places. Old memories resurface, ideas link up out of nowhere, problems you've been stuck on start making sense without you even pushing them. It's a space that you've been denying yourself, and you can't even start building anything without it. But what you can do is start building little rituals around it. Sunday mornings, no phone, just you, a coffee and a notebook. Actually, I suggest water or juice instead of coffee, which is another nasty little habit that people have thrown themselves into. So, no plan, no structure. Structure? Did I say structure? No plans, no structure. Just letting whatever's in your mind come out. Now, it might sound pointless, but it really isn't. People like Scott Barry Kaufman, he's a cognitive scientist and humanistic psychologist, and he's shown that this wandering state is tied to creativity, not the fake force kind, the real thing. The breakthroughs don't always come when you're grinding. They come when you step back and you let your mind connect the dots, but in your mind's own time. And that's what I'd been missing. And listen, this ain't about rejecting technology or pretending we're better off in some pre-internet fantasy. That's not real. The phone's useful. We all know that. But if you can't put it down, it's not a tool anymore. It's got you. You're its bitch. Now, right now, there's a whole system built to keep us distracted. This is social media. Your attention's profitable. Your focus is their currency. The more scattered you are, the easier you are to manage. It's not just social media, it's also advertising and everything. So choosing to sit there and do nothing, properly nothing, that's not laziness. That's resistance right now. That's you taking your mind back. And in those quiet moments, no screen, no noise, no constant pull, you start to feel it. Things slow down, thoughts deepen. You're not reacting anymore, you're actually thinking. And that's when it clicks for me. Oops. I hadn't lost my mind. I just stopped listening to it. Now, I make space for it and allow it to speak. I'll be talking more about these topics in the future. I am the OVG.